Okay, welcome to another episode of Fixing Bugs and Stuff. We're going to go over this guy and give you an update. I know many of you have been asking questions about this. I've been getting a lot of emails. So, I can tell you right now what's happening. So far, I've tested everything. The generator's fine. Everything, spark plugs, everything, all the spark is good. Seems to be running great. But I started to notice on the fourth cylinder over here that when I put my hand over velocity stack, I noticed that it was not changing at all. I would put on everything else and then the engine would start to die. That's how you know it's firing. I'll also put a temperature, infrared temperature here, and it was really cool. It was really, really cool. The other ones were pretty much dead on each other on 1 through 3, but number 4 was running pretty cool. That's a scary indicator. That's one thing. I thought it may be the spark plug itself. I checked the spark plug. There's no problems there. I thought it may be the idle circuit in here. I cleaned this out. No problems there. I figured something was clogged. It wasn't it. So finally, I stopped everything. I did a compression test all the way around. The compression tests for 1 through 3, they all matched, except for number 4. Number 4 was really low. It was about 100 psi, and that kind of concerned me. So I figured it may be the heads. All right. So I took the cover off here, valve cover off, and I checked the nuts that are in here, the nuts that torque the head down. I just figure I take the rocker assembly off. I'll just check the nuts that are there, and I'll show you that later in this video. And I checked them, and it seemed like one of the nuts or the studs, whatever you want to call it, is really loose. And I kept tightening it and tightening and tightening it. And then the compression kept getting worse and worse and worse, which tells me that it's making the heads a little lopsided. And it's also telling me that I think, I'm not 100% sure, we're going to find out here shortly, if the threads or the inserts that are on the case are pulling out, or the threads on the studs themselves are bad and they're pulling out. So I'm going to figure all that stuff out. Next time you see this is all going to be taken apart all the way down to the long block. It's the best way. And then we're going to do a pressure test or leak down test, so to speak. And then we'll use like soapy water to see where the air is coming from. And then we'll figure it out from there. I built many of these, and every once in a while you have like this weird thing going on like this, and everything's pretty much new in this case, or this engine. Everything's pretty brand new. Only thing that's not new is the rocker assembly and the case. Those are the only two things that I know of that is not new. Everything else is pretty brand spanking new and has been gone through. So next time you see this, it'll be all tore down to long block. I'll see you right back. Okay, guys, we're going to get a closer look. I took everything off, as you can see. On this side, I took the sheet metal off. The intakes are off. And what I discovered, I can show you what I found. Found that this stud here, I don't know if you can see it or not, this guy here, this particular one, as I was tightening this, it was moving. The stud shouldn't be moving. It should be in place. But this one was very loose. So what I ended up doing was I loosened up all of these nuts here. You can see they're down here as well. Took off the rocker assembly. I loosened all of them. Then I retorqued them. And then I did a leak down test. And it was in the green. The green is good. Of course, everybody wants it to have nothing. But then again, you have to remember that, you can focus on this. You have to remember that these have, the rings have gaps in them, little tiny gaps, and air will slip through there. So you're not going to get 100% in the yellow where it says set. As long as you're getting the green, you're good. So when you do a leak down test, I sprayed like bubble soap or soapy water in here, see if anything was leaking. It wasn't here. That's after I torqued everything down. So that's good. That's great news. I also put my ear in here to see if anything was coming through. Heard nothing. And put my ear in here. I heard nothing. So the valves are totally closed, which is great. That's what I want. So right now, what I'm probably going to do is turn it over and see what compression do I have now. Oh, right now we're doing a compression test. Somebody asked me about this before. I had set up the compression to 8.5 to 1. Some people say that's too low. I'm not sure yet. I'll do some more calculations and I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. I think it's fine. Let's see. I'm going to do a compression test here and I'll do it right in front of you. This is the number 4 that was suspect. Everything's torqued down. You guys can see the gauge here. I'm just going to turn it over and see what she comes up to. A little loud there. So it came up to 150. It's pretty good. The other ones came up to like 155. At one time when I first started this, it started to come up to 155. So that's telling me that I think that some of these studs are becoming loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the heads off, right, on both sides. I'm going to double check these studs right here. This is the studs I'm talking about. If some of them are loose, if they're not, what I mean is loose in the case, then that's going to be a problem. Even if they're loose inside of here, that's a problem. So what I'll do is I'll Loctite them in here. Hopefully that solves the problem. If not, then I'll move on to something else. The worst case, I will have to tear all this down and then replace the studs. We'll go up to 10 millimeters because this is 8mm studs here. Okay. So, oh, you're probably going to ask, what are you torquing these to? These nuts here? It says to the book 18 foot-pounds. Unless I'm reading it wrong. That's what I normally do it to. Even though the case has inserts, sometimes you can torque them higher, but that's not a good idea because as it's running, it gets hot and things stretch, and it's not a good idea to torque things down too tight. So let me know in the comments if the torque is incorrect or you guys heard something else, but I normally do them at 18 foot-pounds. Now, if they're 10mm studs, that's totally different. I go up to like 25 or 20. I know it says the book says 24, but I go up to 25. So again, there's a lot bigger studs. Anyway, I will take care of those 8mm studs. I will Loctite them down. And then in the next video, I will do another test, compression test, and see if I can get everything to stay. Then I'll take off the rocker assemblies and see if the torques on the nuts have changed. And that's what I found out earlier during this whole running process. This has been hot test, hot run. It's been broken in. And that's when I noticed that the compression started to get lower and lower and lower. And I'm just assuming that these are backing out from vibration, these studs here. So that's it for this engine right now. Next video, hopefully you'll see everything, not everything put together, but we'll have it at this spot here, at the long block spot. And then we'll check all the compressions and make sure they're all good. We'll check the nuts, all the hardware to make sure that it's all torqued, and that should be it. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It's going to be a good turnout, and please like, subscribe, and comment, and thanks for watching.